And this is Constructive Criticism and the Skyenet community, Lily Rambles. I'm not familiar with Lily. I don't know if she makes content for our community, uh, or she's just a passive observer of it. But I'm kind of curious. I skimmed it a little bit. It looks like it's a talkie piece, which I'm fine with. So yeah, let me see. 7 minutes, okay. Let's see how much content I can make out of a 7-minute video. I'm just joking. All right, let's get into it. Like the music, very nice.
Hello, it's Lily. I'm going to
Hello,
bring
Lily.
some big sister energy to the party.
Ooh.
The Sky Bros community has been having a few growing pains lately, and I want to talk about a subject that's important to me. I've been a writer.
In any sort of community, you're always going to reach a point of like critical mass where things will continue to grow and reach a point of I call it clickdom. Clicks just happen. It's natural in society. If you study sociology at all, we tend to fall into packs, into self groups, self communities. Uh, I think it's inevitability. I mean, ultimately, we do want to be cool with each other. I think we are cool with each other for the most part. I mean, and if you do have an issue with somebody, I mean, I think our community is mature enough where it's like, hey, I'm familiar with that person, and just, unless that person has done something specifically to wrong you, which I know there was somebody recently who did, which I won't name because she was in a recent video of Skies. But besides that, tribes, yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Tribes, clans, herd, so to speak.
And a reader and a member of communities full of writers my entire life. And so constructive criticism is a subject that has come up a lot. So here are some summaries of my thoughts. I might expand on these. I might just read the script I wrote. I did
Ooh, okay.
script this out because I wanted to make sure that I articulated myself fully.
Good, good,
So
good. I'm
here we
proud
go.
of you.
So I've been in fandom spaces for decades, and I'm seeing parallels between those experiences and certain discussions that are being had in the Sky Bros community right now. These discussions revolve around art, criticism, and how to build a healthy community. I want to share my perspective on these matters, and hopefully someone will find it useful. So here is my thesis. Should I, and this is my personal decision, should I call out bad art? No, I choose to call out the good in the art and help it to grow.
I disagree with that. I think we should call out bad art constructively. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, hey, this looked a bit rushed. Did you run out of generations for the day? Did you not know how to get the thing that you wanted? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Bad art should be called out because we have a community of people who are more than willing to help you improve on it if you have the means to. Hello, Taro. Thanks for stopping by. So I disagree with that. I think bad art should be called out constructively and under the impression of we should be building each other up instead of tearing each other down. Get back on there.
AI art is art because a human is involved in the making of it. It is a product of the human mind and expression of creativity, no matter how halting, how immature, or how sloppy.
I mean, I can agree with that. I mean, if you want to get into immature art, I mean, some of the early political comments were very crude and very rash, and they got the points across just fine. I mean, I don't think maturity has anything to do with art at all. That's my personal opinion, of course.
Art is inherently subjective. Saying
Yes,
that
I agree
any
with that.
piece of art is objectively bad is simply bad criticism.
No, I disagree with that. I still think you can say art is bad because I think, let's be honest, we have seen plenty of artwork I'd say artwork loosely, whether it's a video or something generated or whatever, where somebody has spit it out there and they're like, I wanted to get on this trend because I think the recent one was like the spa day stuff. I tried to do something like that for myself and I was like, oh, this is coming out bad. I'm just not going to post it. Um, I think if you choose to post something and you know it's not your best stuff, and you don't acknowledge like, hey, I didn't do too well with it, but blah, then you should be called out because, like I said, we're in an AI space. There's no reason not to seek out help. I mean, even if I was to post it, right, and say, hey, I couldn't get this right. Does anybody know a good prompt I can use for X, Y, or Z? I think this is where AI art differs from art in the traditional medium because we have the means to improve on it. It's generative because we can take something that was made and go back like an image or two, for the sake we've done 2 or 3 generations and say like, okay, let's go back 2 or 3 steps to when this looked better, and let's improve on this instead of where we were. I know I've done that several times.
You can say with all fairness, I don't care for this art, or this art is not for me, or some elements of this art clash in a way that makes it unpleasant to look at or listen to, or I
Yeah, guiding help, exactly. Guiding help is better than spiteful criticism. Yeah, I agree entirely.
can see some flaws here.
Yeah, so what she says here that she said, or was it, this art is not for me, some of the elements clash and personal unpleasant. This is just personal preference. I'm not shitting on her by any stretch of the imagination. All art is subjective. All art has personal preference. For example, I hate abstractness. It hurts my brain. But I know plenty of people who love abstract art. Um, I happen to like surrealism as well as landscapes. Ironically, I really like landscapes and surrealism. That having been said, like somebody else can say, I hate surreal art. And I'll be like, oh, well, you teach their own. A man of culture, indeed.
That could be corrected with more time taken or better use of the tools.
Didn't I just say that with more time taken? Yeah, I agree with it. Okay, so we're on the same page. Good. I'm glad to hear that, Lily.
Etc. There are many valid criticisms that you can make. Many. But just saying this art is bad because I say so is not constructive, it is not helpful, and it does not build a healthy, edifying community. You are, of course, allowed to say whatever you want. We have free speech in America and on the internet in general.
I agree with that.
But if you choose to give bad criticism only, people will ignore you.
I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, I think that has very little to do with art and more to do with just people being a shit. If somebody wants to be a piece of shit and wants to talk trash for the sake of being a negative Nancy, then guess what? They're going to find themselves without friends. You can't shit on everything your entire life and expect people to still want to be around you.
They will be correct to do so. I want the Sky Bros community to be a healthy and edifying place where we teach each other and help each other grow. I
agree with that. I think we're all on the same. I think we're all on the same page in regards to that. And I think we have all done a fantastic job of trying to keep it there as much as we can.
that is mainly the case. That doesn't mean we can't tell someone when their art falls short or where we see flaws that can and should be improved upon, of course. But it does mean that we need to treat each other with kindness and respect, not as content to be farmed.
That's subjective. And the only reason I say that is because there's a lot of people in the space that want their content to be farmed because their content being farmed gets more exposure for them, gets them growth. People want different things from the community for different reasons. I mean, I'm not going to speak for somebody like Sky, who's obviously a lot bigger than all of us because we're in his community, but I'm pretty sure, he encourages the farming because that's more exposure for him. And plus he makes fantastic work. I mean, how can you not like his stuff? Oh, hate farming. I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe hate farming. Hate farming is a different, topic, but yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
And I don't see a lot of that. I'm not saying I do. I want us to have a solid foundation. All right.
That's fair. Okay. She was saying she hasn't necessarily seen that, which is fair. I was going to say I haven't seen that much either. I mean, the only person that I would say maybe at all, like I said, was Sky, and that's only because he makes such fantastic art. It's like if you see something of his and you don't share it just because of the wow factor, what are you doing with your life?
And I mean, most of us are doing this as a hobby anyway, with little or
That's
no
valid.
expectation of making money. So, would I like to be able to quit my job and do nothing but make music and animated videos all day, every day? Sure, that would be awesome. But I have zero expectation of that, and I'm sure a lot of other people in the community feel the same way.
If you do anything for the pursuit of money, you're going to be miserable your entire life. That doesn't mean you can't take the things that you love doing and find a way to monetize them. But if you're doing things only for money, you're going to be fucking miserable. I'm glad people are realizing that. I didn't realize that till way later in life. And it was after like my second job when I was like, this sucks. This sucks. I'm making a lot of money, but I don't have any fucking time to spend it. I know I'll make a VTuber org, I said as I twirled my mustache. I drank my wine like, I'm joking, of course.
Quite to the contrary, I'm working overtime so I can afford to pay for expensive tools that I use to make videos that maybe 50 people will see, and I am content with that.
Just give me that cold cash. I have time to spend it. Hell no. You get your own cold cash.
Expanding on the idea of this being a hobby, would you go into a farmer's market where someone is selling little watercolor paintings they made as a hobby and tell them that their art is trash and they should feel bad about it and never try again?
The reason why that will never happen is because of the fact that on the internet, we have a thing called anonymity. And it's a bit different because of the fact that we, like, for example, people know me as Mags. Everybody knows me as Mags. So if I were to say, oh, you know, this and this sucks, you can be like, oh, well, Mags, blah, 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 blah. But I still have a persona, a person behind, you know, the avatar. If things really get dicey for whatever reason, I can just cut tail and run and avoid all accountability. If you do this in real life, tell somebody their art sucks. Not just are you an asshole, you're probably going to get punched in the face. I think that's a big difference, you know. The oh, hello, Captain Rudy. The front engagement with somebody face to face is a lot different than just saying, oh, well, this sucks because blah, and typing it online, you know. Anybody can do that, post it, and walk away.
No, then you shouldn't do it on the internet either. And if you would do that in real life, well,
Well, once again, you know, I just hit on it, but I'll say it again. It's the fact that the internet gives you anonymity. If I really want to be an asshole, if I really want to trash on somebody, I can make a burner account and jump on and say something like, hey, Skybrows, you suck because blah, 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 blah. And then just forget about that account and just trash on them for no reason. Now, Sky's probably not going to care. But the point is, people can do that. And there's no real, like, punishment for that. It's different. I think this is a bad analogy. I understand where she's coming from, but I think it's a bad analogy because anytime you compare the IRL to the online, there's always that big disconnect. I understand the, you know, once again why she's making it, but you know, it's just so easy to poke holes in that argument.
I feel sorry for you. That's a miserable way to live. And even those who do have grander ambitions, who might
Hello,
want to make this
everybody.
hobby into a career someday and make grander and grander projects, they don't deserve to be trashed either. Come on, have we all seen Ratatouille or not? Y'all remember Anton's speech at the end, right?
I liked Ratatouille the first time I saw it, but I remember at the time I babysat a kid that he just wanted to watch Ratatouille all the time. It was quite annoying. Hello, Runia. Thank you for stopping by. Can't wait to do the next stream. Yeah.
Okay. Not to mention, of course, that most of the folks in this community.
This is oh geez, I forgot her name. It's Silly Fernwild. She's doing I guess a little video essay as far as constructive criticism about the Skybrows community. That's why I was like, I'll give my 2 cents. I'll share the video after the fact.
To make AI art in the past few months. We're all babies on this journey. We are all experimenting with processes and ideas that might or might not work. Do you yell at babies for wobbling when they walk?
I have to ask, did somebody yell at this person for their art? Did somebody get mad at her? Or did she witness this happening to somebody else? I mean, I'm not saying there's not shit people. I mean, there's shit people in every society, in every culture, in every club, in every uh, campfire, whatever you want to say. I mean, shit people just happen. It's sad, but it just happens, you know?
No, you smile and clap and tell them to keep going. And their footsteps get stronger and they grin and run to you, and eventually they might win a track race.
Ah, okay, okay. I mean, I'll comment on that after the fact.
Or they might not. It doesn't matter. Babies should be encouraged. I should have looked that up. There's a Van Gogh quote, something about like, um, if the grass is worthy as wheat, then it's worthy as a stalk, something like that. You know, if an oak tree is valuable, then an acorn is too.
Right? I agree with that. Was
Most of the fandom spaces I inhabited eventually came down to the decision that, for the most part, you should not criticize someone's writing or art unless they specifically request it. Some of this is, of course, because fandom can't and shouldn't be monetized, but I mean, it's all fandom is a gift economy. You write something because you want to share it with other people. You make a piece of fan art because you want to share it with other people. The gifts you give in return are comments and feedback and sharing the person's post. That's how a fandom ideally should work.
I agree with that. Yeah, it should be a give and take.
Okay. I am not suggesting that we do that in this community necessarily, but I don't think it's a bad policy to have in general.
I think the disconnect there, and this is by no means a dig at Lily, is the fact that she's equating like a fan community, a fandom, with a Skynet community, and it's way different, because anybody can create with the AI tools we have. Um, it's like for the sake of argument, I'll say somebody I love like Keen. I'm pretty good friends with Keen, but let's say for whatever reason I don't like Keen. Let's say I decided he's a jackass, right? Well, guess what I do? I just don't put him in as cameos or whatever in my stuff, and I don't have to make a thing of it. It doesn't have to be a thing. I just leave him out because it is what it is. I don't have to put him in my little pocket of the world that I'm creating to share. That having been said, I full well intend to put Keen in a lot of cameos, but totally different situation.
Choosing to interact with this art, with the Skybros community's art, the way I do with fan art and fan fiction in my fandoms. Namely, if I like something, I say so, and I say why. I specifically point to an aspect of the art that I particularly liked or enjoyed. I tell the person I am commenting on to keep going and keep trying. I owe you guys a bunch of comments. I've watched a lot of videos on my TV, and then I have a playlist of videos I need to comment on, and another playlist of videos to watch. So
I can say I'm guilty of doing the same thing. I have a bunch of like videos from the community where I'll put them on while I'm cooking or doing laundry or something. And if it's something that I know I want to react to or talk about, I'll be like, "Oh no, let me put my fingers in my ears, la 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 la," because I don't want to ruin the authenticity of it.
my life, I'll get to it. I'm going to give you all comments. I love commenting on your stuff. Anyway, this
Mhm.
is my personal decision, and I am not saying that everyone has to follow my lead, but we do learn from psychology that positive reinforcement is more powerful than negative reinforcement, and so I am choosing to follow the positive route. I
I agree with that. I believe in positivity. I believe in encouraging people and building each other up. However, I also do believe in a thing called tough love, which is sometimes you have to be hard on people so this way they'll grow. I mean, if somebody is generating, or let's not even say generation. Let's use sports as an analogy. If somebody is on the track team and they keep coming in dead last, and you're like, "Hey, congratulations, you're still doing it. Congratulations, congrats." But then this person is acting like they're the star runner on the team, and it's like you kind of have to burst their bubble a little bit to say, "Look, you're part of the team. We're glad for all the improvements you've made, but you got a lot of work to do, man, because you are not at the same level as them. And if you're okay with that, that's fine, but you have to know your place." And that sounds really cold, and I think a lot of people don't like hearing that. But I think that can really motivate people. Speaking for myself, when I was younger, I was in band. I played an instrument. I don't want to say what instrument because that might. It was a stringed instrument. That's all I'll say. And I was terrible at it. I was terrible at it. I thought I was good at it. And one time my band teacher was like, "You suck. You should consider doing something else because you suck and whatever." And you know what I did? I went home and I cried like a bitch. But you know what else I did after that? I said, "Fuck that guy. I'm going to get good at this." And then when I came back the following year, also back in band, and all of a sudden I was first chair. And he was like, "Whoa, where the hell did this come from?" That negative, tough love, so to speak, it motivated me. It made me get shit done. And so I'm not saying shit on people for the sake of shitting on people, right? That's not at all what I mean. I'm saying to be just blindly positive, it can be detrimental to somebody's development. I think it's okay to tell people, "Hey, man, this wasn't your best work. I hope you do better next time." I think that's okay.
I am not going to call out bad art. Instead, I am going to call out the good in the art that I experienced, and I will hope for more of it in the future. And I will cheer for you and root for you, no matter who you are, no matter if you make a piece of art that appeals to me or not. And if there's
I think that's tiring. Bluetooth is fine as long as it comes with. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Bluetooth is fine as long as it comes from a place of honesty. I mean, like, I would want my best friend to tell me if he thought I was dating a girl that was terrible for me. Because you know what a bad friend does? A bad friend gives you the thumbs up and tells you to go and dry. Uh, that's that's terrible. A good friend will say, "Hey, I'm really worried because this person is changing who you are, and I'm concerned for you, especially if they're making them do bad things." Something talk. Yeah, exactly. That's what the only thing I'm worried about. And I understand why people only want to dwell on the positive, but the sad thing from my perspective is reality isn't all positive, and it's I know that's why we love this community. I mean, that's why I love this community. I've had nothing but a positive experience here, but I think we need to be realistic and say not everybody's art is the same and it's not meant to be the same. And we have the capability of making it pretty close. We share prompts, we share ideas, so forth. And I think that's great. I think that's wonderful. But to only promote positivity for the sake of positivity, I think that's a dangerous mindset to live in, speaking for myself.
something out there that I don't like, for example, videos that lean more heavily on lewdness, I just won't watch it. Or maybe I'll watch a few seconds and I'll click away. Like,
I think that's fine. That's personal preference. If you don't want to watch any videos like that, there is no shame in that. You don't have to. You do not have to feel obligated to watch every single video in the community. And I say that as somebody that I'm trying to watch every single video in the community, but we just keep pumping them out so fast. We have the ability to private and not public. Yeah, exactly. I can speak. I'm in a few communities where I have shared things, and I'm like, "Hey, this is what I did. I'm not proud of it, but I did like how the hair came out, for example, or I did like how the outfit came out here," and I will share that. And I think that's growing experience because it's saying I like this one thing that I was able to capture, but the entire work is not my best. And I think a lot of it has to do with individual honesty.
I'm sorry, it's just not for me. It's not for me. That's fine. I am not entitled to anyone's time and effort. No one is required to create art that fits my preferences. In conclusion, I love this community. I love everyone who has given me a cameo. I love my precious baby artists and little chuds, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Keep your stick on the ice.
That's awesome. This was actually really wholesome. I didn't agree with her on every single point, but I thought it was a very beautiful video. I think she made some very good points. I will give her a subscribe and a like because I am that type of person. She will watch some itchy stuff on the podcast. Well, you know what? That could be entirely different because, if I mean, see how far should I go with that? I'll just say everyone has their own personal tastes. Maybe that etchy stuff she's liking is maybe to her personal interests. I don't know. I'm not judging. It is not my place to judge. It is my place to no, no, no. Okay, I'll take your word for it. But yeah, no, I think this was a great critique of a great conversation starter into the community, and I think there's nothing wrong with critiquing and talking about the stuff that happens in the community, even if it is not always good. I think it's important to talk about it. I also think it's important that as we develop into a larger community, I mean, it's inevitable. Like, we will break into our tribes, so to speak, our culture, um, of being associated with Skynet and so forth, and that's fine. I actually welcome that. I like it quite a lot, and I think we just need to be respectful of each other and not be afraid to speak out when we see things that need to be critiqued. Because at the end of the day, I think we all just want to. I will continue my end. At the end of the day, I think that we all just want to get better, not necessarily to make money or anything like that, but we want to get better in regards to being able to express ourselves with this new medium. It's a brave new world after all.